Hi, and welcome back to Count to 10 Martial Arts School and the Channel 1 News, courtesy of YouTube. Today's top story, hurricane neutralization technique and or techniques. Now on planet Earth, for example, recently, over the last, probably 10 to 15 years, 5, 10, 15 years, there have been many hurricanes on Earth, and many of them have showed up in the Gulf region of America. And as a result of this phenomenon, this continuing recurrence of hurricanes in the Gulf area and other areas too, of course, it's universally, of course, always, but I'm using Earth for this example. And because of that, I have been forced to, and the class and the student body has been forced to try and combat the situation, try and come up with some sort of solution, a way to neutralize hurricanes. Now, the first thing that I always teach about it, aside from content, that's it, of course, is that altering or trying to alter or attempting to alter nature, the perfect universe, which is what it always is, on a large scale is always inherently dangerous, because the universe is already perfect. It's already perfected on out, all the way up out. It's already perfect. Every single thing, every little iota of the universe, every piece of matter, every energy, light wave or particle, every single thing is in the perfect place at the perfect time. It's all perfect. So it's inherently dangerous to try and alter or attempt to alter nature on a large scale, such as with the hurricane neutralization program or project. So that's perhaps one of the first things about it. So we have to be very careful in our application of any technology that we use to try and neutralize or diffuse hurricanes. Now, the next thing about it in this article is regarding the implications regarding consideration for the preservation and insurance of all life and all life forms. And one of the first things that comes to mind is microbial life, such as microscopic mites that may be in the water and or the air and or in or on the land around the areas that are affected, of course. But typically, I looked at some footage earlier on YouTube, and courtesy of NASA and other good peoples in the class. And based on the footage, it looks like, and of course I already know this, but in the footage it shows conglomeration of clouds and then the path of the hurricane over the sea area, and then once again moving on to the land area where it causes destruction and whatnot. So in my solution, it seems to me that the most logical point or window to try and neutralize these hurricanes is while they're at sea, before they get to land. Now, of course, we might have to do it at any given time space during the hurricane's progression or whatnot, or occurrence, but it seems to me that would be the safest place to do it, would be while it's out at sea, while they're out at sea before they get inland, and of course that would prevent the destruction on the land. So microbial life too, and fish life, and all life forms we have to be concerned with. But okay, now also I've got at least, let's see, at least three techniques that I've been considering and researching and studying, the class is involved with. And those in order to neutralize hurricanes or diffuse hurricanes, and they are A, laser cooling technology. Now, for those of you who are interested in working on this project with us, please research laser cooling on YouTube. And there might not be much out about it, but we could probably find something out about it. All right, the basic idea with laser cooling is that there is a scientific way to basically create like a freezing effect through the use of lasers, laser beams or laser technology. So in our analysis of hurricanes, we realized that there was heat at the center, at the eye of the hurricanes, which basically kind of, if not absolutely or totally, seems to fuel the hurricanes. So my solution involves targeting the eyes with cooling technology in order to diffuse or neutralize the hurricane by freezing it or cooling down the eye so that there's no more heat at the center. All right, now in our considerations for all life and then the implications for all life, we have to, of course, we're thinking about lasers, of course, we have to realize and be careful about burn considerations. We don't want to burn any microbial peoples, or nor fish, nor plant life, or any life at any time space that we target the center of these hurricanes. So burning is a consideration. And let's see here. All right, and B, wind generator and or generators. Generating a counter wind or winds to once again neutralize or diffuse a hurricane or hurricanes. Counter winds through wind generators. So we have to, we have the Coriolis effect, so we have to take that into consideration, because if we're in one hemisphere, then we might use a certain vector or path or current of wind with our wind generators in one hemisphere, where it would possibly be the opposite or another direction or whatnot in the other hemisphere. And this is on Earth, for example. So we have the Coriolis effect to take consideration, but generating counter winds, because we see in the analysis of our hurricanes, and for those of you in the class and the student body that are interested in this subject and working on this project with us, continuing to research anatomy of a hurricane on YouTube, or elsewhere on the internet too. There's plenty of good places with plenty of information about it. And you might not be able to find much, but you might be able to find a little bit about it. All right, so B was wind generator and or generators, generating counter winds. All right, C, ice depositing. Once again, in an effort to cool the center, to diffuse it, to reduce the heat in the center of the hurricane. Ice depositing, and some of the considerations for the ice depositing are transport, mining ice from the poles, on planet Earth, for example, from North Pole to South Pole, or the South Pole there, mining it and transporting it and depositing it strategically into the eye of the hurricane or hurricanes. All right, now. Okay, so we have those three things: laser cooling, wind generators, and ice depositing. And okay, and finally there was also, and actually it was 4, not 3. It was 4, not 3. The fourth technique involves the BPDSG technology. And let's see here, the BPDSG application. So far what we've got includes generating a shield, once again, at the center of the eye of the hurricane and hurricanes, in order to deflect solar energy in the event that solar energy is some of the cause, or if not all of the cause, of the heat at the center of these hurricanes. So deflecting solar energy with the BPDSG technology in bursts or with a continuous field or shield in order to cool the eye of the hurricanes. So deflection of solar energy. Let's see here. Microbial life and non-life. Oh, that's right. That's right. And this article regarding hurricane neutralization techniques also involves and is related to the subject of microbial life, and it also is related to the article I posted and published regarding the classification, the eternal classification of all life forms, which includes microscopic life to some degree. And so I digress a bit from the hurricane neutralization techniques, and we get to the related topic of microbial life. Now, there is such a thing as some microscopic life forms that are really people that still think and have sentience just as humans do. And those include microscopic mites that typically, if not always, live on humans. And could be living on other people's too, but They live somewhat on humans, and they subsist and eat and feed off skin cells of humans, and it's practically harmless. I think it's perfectly good and normal and legal myself, but for the most part. I mean, basically because, if not totally, because everybody has to eat, right? So I don't mind it myself. You know, we stay clean, but microscopic mites. So we have to be careful regarding these guys and make sure that we don't burn them with some lasers or harm them somehow with any of these techniques. All right, now, so regarding microbial life, we know for sure that the microscopic mites that live on humans, as aforementioned, are real people. However, in my opinion, in my estimation, and my knowledge, and my findings, according to all my findings, the microscopic mites that exist on humans that live off our skin cells, are possibly, if not absolutely and totally, the smallest life form in the universe. And in addition to that, on a microscopic or microbial level or scale, there are many forms of microbes. We can still call them microbes, but they are non-life forms. They are not life forms. They are inanimate objects, and or basically the way I classify them is they are microbes that are just agents, miscellaneous agents in the universe, performing various tasks in the universe, such as degrading matter or building up matter, whatever it might be, various tasks. So there's a very clear difference between real microbial life forms and microbial non-life forms. All right, that's it for now for this discussion. And interestingly enough, though, I will finish with this. Let's see here. In the near future here, I'm working on a project right now, and I will be disclosing the Count to 10 Martial Arts School curriculum for the student body's perusal and interest and study, so they can know what our curriculum is and see how badass we are. Excuse my language. All right, that's it for now. Stay tuned for more later. Count to 10 Martial Arts School, the Channel 1 News. Internal service from Count to 10 Martial Arts School, courtesy of, you guessed it, YouTube. And remember, YouTube is a universal place. Peace out.